Hello again, and welcome to the next episode of my HTML5 series. In this episode, we're going to be covering the script tag. Now, if you watched the very first video, the general intro to HTML, I do explain some of the basic major tags like body, head, script, and style. But I'm going to go over script in a little bit more detail and kind of show you the possibilities of script, and basically you're only going to use it for one thing. The one thing you're going to use it for is loading JavaScript onto a page. Now, whether that's a remote JavaScript from an API service like Google APIs, or whether it's something you downloaded from the internet like a jQuery production library, or if it's just an alert because you're learning how to do HTML and JavaScript and stuff like that and you don't know what you're doing. So let's go ahead and just kind of dive into it. The script tag is kind of interesting because it by definition it only belongs in the head of a page, but in usage, especially nowadays, it almost never goes into the head by itself. Let's just go ahead and throw down a script tag. Now, the script tag, we can go ahead and go alert blah. Now let's go ahead and load up our page and just show you an example. We're going to reload and we're going to get this. Now, I want you to notice something about this page. It's white. It's completely white, and it's showing the JavaScript alert blah. Once we click OK, the page loads. Now, this is what's known as JavaScript blocking. This is a common thing that when you're dealing with complex, high-level JavaScript, it is a simple thing, and it screws you up so much. Basically, to explain what's happening, and I could get into a lot of detail, and I'd like to get into an advanced video of the script tag as I get out of this basic series, but I just want to show you some of the basic usages. So what's happening is the page is being parsed from top to bottom, or technically from the first node to its next children, and then from those ones, the first child to its children. It's actually like a tree view that just kind of pops out. That was a cool sound. It goes, and it expands, and it can... No, so basically, and this is what's known as the DOM, or the Document Object Model, and it's a little complex. If you really care about it, go look it up on Wikipedia or something, because I'm not going to go into too much detail into it. But basically, the way that works is HTML, its first child is head. Its head's first child is meta. And then the next child, and the next child. And as you see, I'm going down and down and down. And then what happens is script gets called. And script gets called, and it does what it's supposed to do. It calls an alert of blah. But because alert in and of itself is a blocking command, meaning that it brings up a window and nothing else executes in the background, usually, the rest of the page is not executed. So the body, header, S, footer, none of that is actually rendered. So what do? Us wonderful developers, we have a couple of ways to do it. I'm not going to go into things like on timeout or DOM ready or anything like that, but the easiest fix is to grab the script tag and to throw it at the bottom of the body. So if we go ahead and go through this and reload, look, I just reloaded, I get the blah, and my page is rendered. This is not unobtrusive JavaScript, because it is very obtrusive. However, and that's another topic that I will get into in more advanced videos, but what this is basically we have a script that's executing after the page is rendered, so at least the user can see the site, and we know that all the content has loaded before we try and throw all this magical JavaScript around. Because remember, what happens if we try and target HTML that doesn't exist yet? Nothing happens. So if we try and make a color change when a user rolls over it with their mouse through JavaScript, that's not going to work if that node, that text, that p tag perhaps, doesn't exist yet. because we have the script tag too high up. This is the quick fix. It's not necessarily the best, but it's so easy to do, and it's also really reliable. So now that I've gotten that out of my system and I've tyraded for a minute, there's a few things you need to know about the script tag. The first thing is, especially if you're not using HTML5, you will require what's known as the type. And these, actually, it's very convenient because the editor here pops up a list of possibilities. Text/JavaScript is what you're going to want to have, especially in things like strict mode or quirks mode or whatever specialty mode your browser of choice may have. A lot of them will not read JavaScript, excuse me, if it does not have the type of text/JavaScript. So if we put that in there, that's what it looks like. Now this is good to have just blanket because it does help fix the odd edge case that something's going wrong or there's a JavaScript error because something's not executing at that one very moment. So there you go. The other thing is, obviously, we have the Src attribute. Now, the Src attribute is a little bit interesting because this is for linking. And you'll actually use the Src attribute more than you would use type, text, JavaScript. Because remember, even though like my demo page here has style inline, like this little block here, I have some CSS right here just to turn the page from white to black and to change the colors around because the white, when I was switching from the dark editor to the bright page, it was blah, blah, blah. The camera couldn't focus and it was just getting a little blurry when looking at me. So I switched that around. This is not good practice. This is not good style. And I would never make anything production with this here. But because it's only 2 lines, it's not worth having an extra file for a CSS. And similar with the JavaScript, you would always be linking to a index.js, which is my usual naming convention if I'm not using a library of any sort. And you could go like index or main.js, or sometimes people even do, you know, the specific type like loader.js, because that's what you do when you're loading, and then that loader loads a bunch of other, you know, included files, and it just, you have this beautiful structure. You should always have some kind of structure, but in this case, usually when you're going with a source tag, you're going to want to move this up to the header. And type is still pretty important at that point. So it's not required again. It's the same situation. Whether you're loading it from the source or whether you're loading it from the type, you probably should have the text/JavaScript just for compatibility's sake. And that's really basically it. And this, by the way, can be any root. It's just like an anchor tag. So it can be the root of your web directory, blah, blah, blah. Or it could be, you know, where this file is, js/file.js. Or it could be http://www.google.com/javascript. You know, .js, or whatever. Or it can be a non-qualified domain, which are the best, which are just //www, blah, whatever. And that, of course, would pick the protocol based on what your current protocol is. So if you're in HTTPS and you're secure, it will make sure that any outgoing connections at least try secure, which is groovy. And that's basically it. I mean, like I said, there's all kinds of little tricks and things, and you can even go crazy, and you can go on load, and you can do some magical stuff with this, but it's not important right now. It doesn't really affect the basic usage. So again, it's supposed to go in the head, but a lot of the times you see people putting it in the body just so that the page fully loads beforehand, and that's basically it. Remember that type attribute. I don't want to see any script tags without it. That's you. That's you. I'm saying it. You better listen. And that's it. I hope you learned something. Sorry for the tirade in this video. It's gone a little long now. It's a little over 10 minutes. So I thank you for your patience in watching the video, and I definitely hope you learned something. So peace.